Hello and welcome to another episode of the Better You Life Coaching. I'm your host, Dre. And today this is going to be one of my YouTube firsts. For February, I wanted to do a few videos where I role-played a little bit and made myself king. And with my task being to outline and tackle some of the biggest problems facing the Black community, at least from my point of view and estimation. So what we're going to do today that's going to be really different is there are a couple shorts that I came across recently from another creator by the name of Black Macho. She uploads a lot of shorts from what I'm seeing, and while I just found her channel very recently, I'm not really sure of her views on certain things. In these particular clips, it's really kind of just her in the corner eating popcorn while the other folks are saying what they're saying in the clip. Excuse me. So, once again, these clips are from her. Be sure to check her channel out. Check out her content. And with that being said, we'll hop into them and we'll review these clips because it goes hand in hand with the very first problem that I feel has to be addressed in order to fix the Black community.
Now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. And this message ain't going to apply to all, but it's going to apply to the majority. Your mama didn't keep your daddy away from you. Your daddy kept himself away from you. All while standing behind that imaginary line that he drew on the ground with a fucking piece of chalk. Nobody kept him away from you. Did he ever show up at your school? Any games? Any rehearsal? Standing in the shadows? Just trying to see you because your mama is the big bad wolf? Ever catch him in any parking lot? Yelling and screaming your name? Hey, I'm just trying to see your mama keep me away from you. I fucking doubt it. Any court documents to show that he tried to go to court, give visitation, joint custody, full custody, anything? I fucking doubt it. Any paperwork showing that he provided any type of financial support? Because here's the thing. Anything that you want in your life bad enough, guess what? Hell or high water can't keep you from it.
Here's an example of what one of my paychecks looks like. Now look,
Go back and watch the rest of that video. Basically, he's talking about his paycheck and what he has left after child support, which is hardly nothing. And I get it. He tired. He frustrated. Welcome to parenthood. See, imagine being a single parent who has the child with them all the time. Let that sink in. Imagine having to pay for health insurance, family health insurance, which costs a couple hundreds every month. Wait. Now imagine just to even go to work, having to pay before care.
All right. So, 2 short clips, but a whole lot to unpack there. And as you could probably guess, the very first issue I feel has to be tackled in order to restore and strengthen the Black community is the restoration of family. And there are a litany of reasons why the Black community is in the state that it's in, but a big one is the lack of family. And currently, it's roughly 75% of all Black children are born outside of wedlock. That stat can be a little bit misleading because there are a significant number of parents who do cohabitate with the biological parent of their child or with another figure that would fill a parental role. However, that number is still well below 50%. A lot of times we talk about fathers in their absence without addressing the reasons why. And where those clips and those shorts cut into each other is one of the biggest reasons why. And honestly, in a weird way, I feel one clip debunks the other. Because she, in one of them, the lady saying like, yo, your dad's never cared about you. How come you don't see them trying to beat down the doors and rah, 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 and they aren't filing cases and all this, that, and the third? One dude just showed you, like, he ain't got it. He ain't got the money. He ain't got it. He couldn't fight legally if he wanted to. And that economic burden is one that is immense and very hard to overcome. And it's one that can come about from a litany of reasons. Yes, you do have a percentage of people who are reckless and spread their seed around. And you also do have men who, like myself, were married at one point in time. We procreated. We divorced. And you can get slapped with a rather odious and pernicious child support order. And this isn't to put everything on women or bash all women type of deal. Actually, I have very little smoke for the women as far as this regard. A system is set up for them to do and engage in these behaviors. And in essence, they're doing what the system is designed to allow them to do. What is profitable to them. I do feel that a large number of women have partners that they could actually work with in terms of financial support and work with quite well to reach some type of arrangement that, while it may not be what a court says, it does provide that father with the flexibility to be able to, one, help out financially with the child, but also help out physically with the child. And that's one of the big things I want to tackle with this video, being the financial aspect. And I'm just going to go off on a little bit of a tangent just to kind of further paint the story and illustrate. You won't see, in regards to that clip where the lady saying your dad didn't fight for you, I disagree with that, and I disagree with it vehemently. You ain't gonna see a guy filing paperwork, going into a lawyer's office when he's taking home $300. He ain't got it. And because of that economic burden, it's gonna be really hard for them to be there. And that whole, you'll fight through this, that, and the third, yeah, that sound good. It really do. But that ain't the world we live in. It's not. And when you stack the deck so thoroughly against somebody, like, it's impossible for them to fight. And I'll just share my story. Like, as I said before, like, my wife and I, we were married, we divorced. Somehow this video makes it to it, like, you know, no beef here. Happy for where she's at in life. God bless her. God bless her family. But the order that I got slapped with, in terms of what could have been done, knowing the law and garnishment statutes, technically wasn't that bad. But because I wasn't making much, and I'm already living check to check, and I'm basically taking home semi-monthly, I'm taking home $2,000 a month, give or take, just depending on how certain things fall. So you can imagine having 25% of your wages taken. That is a big, big blow, because you already don't have it. And when you keep in mind that, at least for me, my wages were frozen, I did not get a review cost of living increase at all for my time that I was at my place of employment when this was initially placed on me. And I had to make some decisions that were really odious, really, really tough. You know, I would take home before my garnishment, after taxes and whatnot, my check would a lot of times be around about just under $800 or so. After that garnishment, you're now talking about just over $5. Like my rent was $7. My light bill at that time was about $200. Water and trash. You know, you get the picture. And there were times I had to make some very tough calls. My child was a little under 2 hours away, and I had a car that was in horrible shape. It was a compact, but it ate gas like a Cadillac. And I wasn't able to be there like I wanted to for my child. And that was something that ate me up. And I can tell you this, from most of the fathers that I've come into contact with who have found themselves in similar situations, the shaming and the demeaning language and things like that some people have for men who aren't there, I can tell you this, it ain't shit compared to the thoughts that they have for themselves. Because you feel like you failed your child. Especially having been there. He was basically my alarm clock. And then him not being there. Being in an empty apartment. And that's not even to take into account the mental effects of that. It's just keeping it strictly on that. So it's disingenuous as hell to say, oh, he ain't want you because you ain't got no court document, where he tried to take somebody to court. If the guy's in that type of situation, he ain't got it. And because of that, now it's really one of two likely scenarios. Either he's going to be busting his butt with a second job or working overtime like a Hebrew slave. Ooh, probably bad wording, but or now he's got to try to find alternative living arrangements where maybe he's trying to move in with a girlfriend or a family member or something like that. And that is, the latter is really emasculating. And I'm just saying that as a point of empathy and grounded reality. You have to ask yourself at a certain point, yeah, that calculator might say you can get X dollar amount, but is the value of that father being present in that child's life more valuable than a couple extra dollars because the calculator said you can get X? And the absence of fathers is just really a symptom of the larger problem, which is the absence of family. The Black community has been decimated by policies and social theories that frankly are for us do not work and have been demonstrated not to work, i.e. Exhibit A. Look at the Black folks and our families. So much so that it's almost expected that we are not in family with each other. It is expected that we aren't in family with each other. If I can find it, I'll put it on the screen for a little bit. There was a artist who decided to redraw the Rugrats as grown-ups, and they decided to make Susie a single mother. And that, to me, said a lot. all the other Rugrats. They're happily married with family, but she's strong for not being in family. And that's not me speaking pejoratively or using anything like that. That's what the artist said. He saw her as a strong woman. So, of course, she wouldn't be in a relationship. Being alone and having to make things work doesn't automatically make you strong. There are a lot of strong women out there who are doing things both as single mothers and as women who are happily married and helping to hold down their family. I think we have to get rid of these social conditions that portray traditional womanhood as something demure, weak, exploited. It's not. It very much is not. Honestly, in terms of power dynamic, the more feminine a woman she is, at least in regards to a man, the more powerful she is. And I guess kind of the best way for me to explain it and move along quickly is like this, in terms of fighting styles. A feminine woman is like a jiu-jitsu judo practitioner, where she's not the person who's going to knock you out, but she knows how to use the people around her and situations around her to make the best of things. So a lot of times things get thrown at her and she's able to twist them and she's able to make them work out to her good. Whereas men, a lot of times we tend to be more brute force. We like boxers or karatekas. Like we coming at, I know for myself, I got beef, like I'm straight up like the Ether song. Like, yo, F it, we going in. You don't gotta listen to the whole song. Like, I'm gonna tell you the first 3 seconds. This is why I'm here. And, you know, once again, I think part of it goes to this social conditioning, which says that men and women have virtually no differences between them aside for what's between their legs. And I very much personally disagree with that. I think in order to fix Black America and fix family, you have to reinstill the value in fatherhood, but also there's an internalized racism that has to be combated as well, that gets mixed into that, which we as a lot of Black folks have internalized, where we see ourselves as lesser. And I believe that's one of the major after effects of slavery and segregation. A lot of times we deal with each other in a manner that portrays that we don't see the full value in each other in terms of how we do business, in terms of the goods we produce, so on and so forth. I'm not really an entrepreneur. Yeah, in a traditional sense, I'm a creative. I've produced books. And speaking from my own personal experience and others who are entrepreneurs and other creatives, I've heard it all too often, and it's pretty much a trope at this point, where one of the things that we hear a lot of from some of our own people is like, yo, at least I've heard, like, yo, it took you how long to make this book? They flip through a few pages. Yo, this look like it's fire. Like, yo, let me get it for the free, or knock a few dollars off of it. And I was like, and I do want to say this conversely too. There are a lot of Black folks who I could say go hard in the paint for each other. And we need a lot more people to think like that, where we're trying to put each other on. We're trying to find those synergistic relationships, even in terms of business, where, you know what, I might not be in your industry, or sometimes you might be, and it's like, yo, this job, we need a little extra manpower. We need somebody that's reliable we can partner with. Boom, I know a guy. And I believe that combating that internalized racism, as well as restoring the value of masculinity and fatherhood, is going to go a long way to repairing the family. But you also have to combat it from a policy perspective, because as I said, I don't really fault people for engaging in things that they're incentivized for. And this is one of the places that we honestly need our sisters to get on board with this, and kind of to understand and empathize and understand how this impacts them as well. Because frankly, a father not being there means it's going to be on you. And one of the things that I hear a lot of women sometimes are even a little really miffed about is like, oh, well, you know, I had the kid and they can do X, Y, and Z. It's like, well, understand, when you engage in these systems, when you dissolve relationships, you're making an exchange. You're having the state place a dollar amount on him that says he's a good father if he pays X. If there's a parenting plan and he comes and does X, Y, Z, he's entitled to this. That, in the eyes of the state, makes him a good and decent father, which most often may or may not be enough. But that is the exchange being made. And that is one that very much removes the father. And I feel it's far more equitable to try, especially when you have somebody that you can work with. I'm going to preface this. It's far more equitable when you have somebody who you can work with, who is an honest actor, who, you know what, y'all might have some differences, but y'all able to have that discussion and hash things out. I feel it's far more equitable to do things outside of the courts, because that person is going to be able to be present in a way that they couldn't be if they get slapped with one of these crazy orders. But we also have to, frankly, have legislative reform that places limits on these types of things that would better enable fathers in situations where relationships dissolve, marriages dissolve, to still be present in their children's lives. I think it's ridiculous that a father can be garnished up to 60% of his wages in some places. Nobody can live like that. Nobody. And if he is making it work, I can tell you right now, he either working like 3-4 jobs or he doing something illegal. That to me, nah. Average person, you ain't making it. I think there should be a similar process to how we do income tax. I think it should be bracketed. If you under 50K, this is the max amount. If you're 50 to 80, this is the max amount. 80 to 120, this is the max amount. 120 plus, this is the max amount, max percentage. I think that it's ridiculous to punch in variables into this calculator, which doesn't take into effect so much, such as a father's standard of living, like where they're at, their own medical bills and medical treatment, and things such as that. And just come out and spit this number out and say, hey, you pay this, and if for whatever reason you lose your job or you can't pay, you're going to jail. That's fucking stupid, man. Think about it. You can have somebody getting hit with 50 to 60% of the income taken before they see $1. And they're expected to keep working, to keep sustaining themselves. And if they lose their job, it's a very real possibility they're going to jail. Think about that. And that's not to absolve people of responsibility. I very much believe that men have responsibility. And I very much believe that men are responsible. But it is to say, like, we need a system that is fair, that encourages our relationships to stay together. It needs to be a lot harder to dissolve a marriage than it currently is. And that's not me saying that, there should never be divorce. Nah, some people don't need to be together. But outside of certain circumstances, like actual physical and emotional abuse being rendered, I don't truly feel that it should be that easy to simply dissolve a marriage. There are some states where you can dissolve a marriage in less than a week. I just personally don't think that is conducive to having relationships, having marriages, which are the basis for family, and being sustainable. I actually would argue that having a significant number of married couples in a community, in a weird way, is public business, because that is a unit. The family unit does contribute to social stability. It does contribute to economic growth. It does correlate with a lot of the positive indicators in our society. It's not the end all be all. Don't get it twisted. But it's a damn good step. And dang, I wasn't trying to make this one a long one. It's like my second or third time trying to close. I done turned into Mr. Z. Shout out to Z. I really truly feel that if you get legislative reform that tackles child support by adjusting these garnishments and setting certain caps to make it more financially viable for fathers in instances where they marriages or relationship dissolves to still be present and active in their child's life. On top of that, I do feel that you do need some barriers that make it a little bit harder for certain relationships to be dissolved. I feel a lot of times, since it's so easy, you have relationships that get dissolved before there's even a chance to work certain things out. And then finally, you have to conquer racism in black folks, along with a lot of the dominant social thinking, which has diminished the value of manhood and fatherhood. You have to restore that value in black people and restore that value in men. It's easy to point and say fathers aren't here. It's another thing to stop and ask that simple question: why? And I believe if you fix and address a lot of those factors, it would go a long way to ensuring that there are more black couples that are married, that are producing kids, and starting families and keeping families together. And I believe that's where you have to start before fixing everything else in the black community. Because without the family, how can you sustain the other pieces of societal infrastructure? But that's my opinion. please, please, please share yours down below. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.